competition. If you look at the top right, I am a dancer. I want to dance professionally on a cruise ship for just a little bit out of college before I go and start teaching full time. There's me some grad pictures, and then you'll see my little fur babies. I have 2 dogs. They're Ozzy and Izzy. They're border collies, and they're not twins, although they look very similar. And then I'm a big outdoorsy kind of girl, so I love going hiking, biking, all the above. Actually, me and my family went out west this past summer. You see that top left. We went all around, like Utah, and looked at some national parks. So that was at Arches. Highly recommend if you'll ever get the chance
Where
to
that's
go.
at?
Arches National Park.
Oh, I thought that was Australia.
No, not Australia. And then I just recently got into weightlifting, which has been fun. That's why I included that little picture. And then I'm a part of a Greek organization on campus. So that's a little bit about me in like 1 minute. Do y'all have any questions for me? No? Okay, well I'm here for you
I
guys.
think Jordan does.
Oh, who?
Jordan in the back.
What's up?
Oh,
Oh, he's getting
where was you over here?
That was at a dance competition.
Did you win?
I don't remember exactly what place I got in. I don't think I won one.
Was
That
that-
was at recital.
Was that the same? Oh.
No, different. Any other questions? Good, great question.
I'm good.
Okay, well I won't be in y'all's class as much as a few of the other classes, but I will be in here periodically helping you guys out. So just want to introduce myself and make my face a familiar face. Yeah.
I like your dogs. They look good.
Thank you. Can I go to the bathroom?
No, we're ready. Go quickly. We're about to start now. Sorry, I forgot that you did that earlier. Okay, I think, guys, hey, listen. I changed it so that you can resubmit answers, and so I think it is submitting. It's just not taking it away because you can resubmit if you realize you made a mistake. Does that make sense? So, like, I think it is submitting. Let's find out, though. All right, great. You get out of here. Okay. Have a good rest of your day. Yes.
You already finished?
I know.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, once again, I only had 20 students. Listen, I only had 20 students out of 26 actually submit this. We got to start doing a little bit better job with it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. All right, one of these approaches that I would use here is going to be very interesting to some of us, and I'll explain why in a second. But there's a very traditional way that we would probably approach simplifying this. Remember, I'm always looking at active collaboration for you to be a part of the class, to grow and to learn. So I need you to talk up and be a part of the conversation. Who has a way that we can start to approach this problem of simplifying math? Distributive property, right? And Joey, I know this isn't your favorite, but we can still get a little bit better with this. When you say distributive, what do you mean?
By multiplying the 3x, the 3 with the x, the 3 with the 4. And
Okay,
then
so let's pause there. So don't forget, guys, it may not be shown, but what's understood to be between the 3 and the parentheses? Multiplication, right? So what we are talking about doing is distributing that multiplication. And 3 times x is what?
3x.
3x. And then 3 times, and remember it's not just times 4, it's a -4, so it's,
12.
okay, what did you want to say on that, Jordan?
So is 3x basically like 3 times 1, basically? No.
X is a variable. We don't know what x is.
Okay, I got one more question.
Okay?
When we all submit these things, are they do they stay random, or can you find out who submitted who, what answer, what? I'm not saying you can show. I'm just asking. Oh,
So I can always see.
that's cool.
Alright? And I look at these afterwards to see who's getting better and who needs help, things like that. Okay? Okay, so there's that idea of distribution. 3 times x and 3 times -4. And then what about here?
2x.
Okay, I want to pause though for a second. I gotta ask, why are y'all multiplying that distribution or distributing that multiplication before you add? Okay, so we want to recognize multiplication has to happen before addition. But we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 4 is? Does anyone remember the property that I can now use to make my job of simplifying a little bit easier? So I am going to combine like terms, so there's something I'm going to do to make it easier to combine like terms. Maddie? Say it again. The commutative property. What does that mean? You can switch the order of things, right? So what is that 2x? What's the like term for that 2x? So I might want the 2x right here, right? So I might switch those terms. So using that commutative property, 3x plus 2x, right? And then minus 12 minus 8. You see how my like terms are now together? And what is 3x plus 2x? 5x, okay. Negative 12 minus 8. Now I'm going to pause. I'm going to talk about two things. First off, what are your questions before I start talking?
I still don't.
I know. Well, I've been meaning to put together a packet for you to work on. I will get you there, Joey. Instead of getting frustrated, I got you. Just trust me, okay? Maddie. Did you have your hand up? I'm going crazy. It's okay. Alright. So, I do want to remind y'all, and I got to ask, and I'm going to consistently ask this. Why is 3x plus 2x 5x?
You're adding 3x and 12x there.
That's what we need to recognize, right? It's not just the like terms. What I literally have is 3 x's being added, and I'm adding 2 more x's. That's a total of 5 x's. So remember, multiplication is repeated addition. We all good on this one? Did anybody take a different approach to simplifying this expression?
I just guess.
Just guessed, okay. Let's look at this then. And this is just to give you an alternate way to think about it and start to open up your mind to other options. Okay, when I know that I can distribute here, but what does this really mean? The 3 times x minus 4. What does this really mean?
You're adding x minus 4 3 times.
Oh yeah, multiplication is repeated addition. And that means that I'm adding x minus 4 3 times. So what's happening here?
You're adding x minus 4 is y.
Oh, wait, so I'm adding x minus 4 in both of these? How many times am I adding x minus 4 then?
5.
So could I rewrite that as 5 parentheses x minus 4?
Yeah.
I'm just repeatedly adding x minus 4 5 times? Yes, Maddie?
So is there like an easier way, like how you did it, can you just like add 3, like so, wait.
You good?
Did you do 3 plus 2 and then just put the variable minus the number?
It's more, okay, so don't forget what we're saying here is that multiplication is repeated what? And so it's not that I'm just doing 3 plus 2. I understand that what this really means is x minus 4 plus x minus 4 plus x minus 4. And I'm stopping there because that's 3 of them, right? And then what am I doing here?
You're adding
How many times am I adding x minus 4?
2.
So how many total x minus 4s do I have? And so I'm just rewriting it as, hey, I'm repeatedly adding x minus 4 5 times. Now what could I do?
And multiply.
Now I can, what property? Distribute. Hey, what's 5 times x?
5x.
5 times negative 4? Is
Negative 4.
that the same answer? Huh. So once again, we get the same answer, but is there more than one way to approach it? I want you to always be on the lookout for that. There's more than one way to approach math, and sometimes if you can see a pattern, if you understand the true definition of what's happening, it can make your life easier. And so Joey, one of the things I do want to point out here is, if you're still uncomfortable with the idea of distribution, that multiplication is repeated what? Addition. So you can do that where you take this and you rewrite it as x minus 4 plus x minus 4 plus x minus 4, right? You can do that, can't you?
Yeah.
You can, right? And what's x plus x plus x?
Really?
Right. So you can write it out into each of those groups, and then you just do negative 4 plus negative 4 plus negative 4, and you have calculators for that. So you don't have to do distribution. It makes your life easier, okay? But right now you don't have to distribute, okay? So there's lots of ways to approach it if you understand what it means to multiply. Janaya, you good back there? I'm not boring you, am I? You tired?
I think we all are.
It's been a long day coming back off the weekend. So don't forget, guys, if you need to, you can stand up at your desk. It makes it harder to fall asleep. Gets that blood flowing a little bit and you walk around. I'm not going to stress it. I'm here to help you grow and learn. Don't be ridiculous and don't jump around to other groups and talk to other groups. But if you need to stand up, go for it. All right. So how many of y'all remembered that we were going to have a quick little understanding check today?
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
You talking about like basically like a pop quiz or something?
Kind of like a quiz. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second. First off, look, two things. One, I uploaded the video from Friday, on Friday, where at the end of class I told you, hey, we're going to have an understanding check. Two, I emailed you the class newsletter that I sent to your parents last week. I emailed it to you on Saturday. And on that email, I said, hey, don't forget, we're going to have an understanding check today in class on what we have studied already. Well, we need to fix that. All right, we'll go down to the computer lab at some point over the next week or two, and we will fix that, but you need to be able to check your emails. Yes, Jordan?
On everything, I don't either, because I just moved to this school. I ain't got no school email. I got one from my old school, but not this one.
Okay, then give me an email that I can email you at. Sound good? I don't know. If you want to talk to me briefly after class and make sure I have a good email for you, let me know. We'll talk about it.
Can I just give you my number? No, stuff.
You can't access your old email from your previous school anymore. They would have deleted that email.
I said my number.
Your what?
My number, so you can like contact me there.
Like, so I can text you? I ain't texting students. That's weird.
Yeah, that's why I said no weird.
That is kinda weird.
Alright. Y'all don't try to play me.
Them creepers be texting students, man. I ain't that kind of guy.
I give my mom number.
Alright.
Oh God.
By the way, Cody, what will be quicker is if you just count out 3 or 4 and then just put them in the middle. Just because I've done that a lot. Okay, so Code is coming around and is giving everybody, excuse me, I know I'm loud enough for you to hear me talking. Gentlemen at group 7, anyone know what I'm about to say to y'all? Thank you, hood's off. We know the policy, okay? Maddie, y'all killing me.
Maddie and Liv.
I'm sorry. Then let it be around your neck. Don't put it up over your head. Okay. So, that's what I'm looking for. So first things first, we're going to talk about this sheet that's being passed out right now. This is the second thing, the second reason you really need a 3-ring binder for this class. The first was that active collaboration rubric. This is a rubric for how I will score every single assessment in my classroom. So we're going to talk through a couple of things with this, and I need you to pay attention. So first things first, this is not a grade. I have to get a grade out of it, but this is a rubric to score the level of understanding that I am seeing from you. Please understand, by the way, Cody, did you make sure Jerry got one of these? Can you please give one to Jerry? Jerry, make sure you ask, okay? Sometimes we forget when you're sitting in the back. Okay, so please pay attention to this. Listen, okay? This is not a grade. You will not be able to figure out your grade from these scores, but these are the scores that you'll see on your understanding checks and your assessments. Because, Jaden, my man, what did I just ask the guys from Group 7 to do?
Come on, Jay.
Take your hood off.
I can tell. Alright. So, first things first, I need you to understand these numbers, when you see them on the paper, first off, it's not just going to be a number. It might be a 1 or a 1 plus or a 1 minus or a 0 or a 0 minus, a 2 or a 2 plus. They each mean something different. And it's telling you the level of evidence that I see of your understanding. Because if I don't see a high level of evidence of your understanding, then I'm not fully convinced that you understand. And the whole goal of education is to develop your thinking and your understanding. And I need you to understand, That's only half of it. There's also levels 3 and 4. Notice if you have a 0 to a 1 in any regard, what that really means is I am seeing little or no evidence of your understanding of procedural fluency. When it comes to mathematics, there are two sides of the math. There's the conceptual understanding, understanding how and why things work. And then there's the procedural fluency of being able to actually do it. So, for example, the expression stuff that we just did, the conceptual side is being able to explain how or why we can distribute. The procedural side is actually doing the distribution and simplifying the expression. So there's the understanding why the concept works, but then there's also the procedure of doing it. And this entire rubric's built out of that. If you earn a 2 at any point, I have limited evidence of conceptual understanding or your procedural fluency. If you're in a 1 or 2 range and you thought you actually understood what's going on, don't you need the feedback so that you know, ooh, I'm missing something, I gotta step it up? Are we back there, awake back there in group 7? Do I need to turn the lights on so that we don't fall asleep? Too late, we're there. Burn to my balls, I know. Okay, so I need y'all to hear me very clearly on this. This is a rubric that I've been working on for a couple of years now to give you feedback so that you understand how well you understand what's going on. Thank you, sir. All right, I'm going to talk more about this in a second. Notice here 3 is what? What does it say up for a 3?
Or
Man.
How you spell that?
Huh?
Procedural.
Procedural. A procedure. Think procedural fluency is understanding how to do the procedure.
Procedural.
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 Yes, that's close enough. Yeah. Procedural. All right. So if you show me clear evidence of your conceptual understanding and procedural fluency, that's pretty darn good, isn't it? Okay? And then the top is clear, consistent, and convincing evidence of your conceptual understanding and or procedural fluency. I'll go ahead and tell you right here and right now, those 4s are harder to get. To be able to show me clear and consistent and convincing evidence that you fully understand, you got to be crushing it, all right? But it's okay, because we're going to talk through how you're going to use this information moving forward. All right, coming back down to here, I need you to hear me very clearly on this. All right? This right here is where you never want to be. Don't ever earn a 0 negative. What a 0 negative means is that the solution or response is incorrect and there is no attempt to justify the response. Notice, does it just say that you're wrong?
Yeah.
No. It says that you're wrong and you don't try to what?
Actually do it.
Don't try it. Not even that's right here. But there's no attempt to justify. What does that mean? Thank you, Emily. It just means explain your answer. If I ask you to create a survey question that would require numerical data, and you said, what is your dog? Or what type of dog do you have? Is that a survey question?
No.
That's a survey question. What type of dog do you have? That's survey. But is that numerical? It's categorical. But if you leave it right there and that's it and you don't try to explain it, then you would earn a 0 negative. That's it. Because you put an answer that's not correct and you didn't try to justify it. But here's the thing. Let's say that you write this question and then underneath it you say, hey, this is a survey question because asking a person. I don't know what you could say for the dog part, but asking a person, right? Have you given me at least some evidence that you understand what a survey question is?
Yes.
Very much so. You made a mistake for sure on the categorical side. You put a categorical question instead of numerical. But by justifying it, you told me you have some understanding. That's what's going to get you here to a 1 negative or a 1, right? Maybe the response is not valid, but there is a slight or minor reference to some correct relevant mathematical thinking. I would say that's even more than just a slight reference to correct thinking. That might be here a 1. The solution response is not valid, but there's at least a decent start to justifying your answers. Please note, the further you go up in this rubric, the better your grade is going to be. So what's going to be necessary to score well? You're going to have to
Know how to do it.
not just know how to do it,
Right.
you have to be able to explain it. You have to justify your answers. Okay? What did you say, Joey?
I can't. Crap.
Okay, here's the thing, Joey. Listen up, and this is for every single one of you. You may say I can't just explain crap, or whatever, however else you want to word it. But it doesn't matter what today holds. What matters is the future. If I never ask you to explain, you will never get better at explaining. You practice explaining on every single one of my assessments, you will consistently get better at it until you are significantly better than where you started. I cannot tell you how many students struggled with it at the beginning of my class last year, but they got so much better by the end. Significantly better by the end. And the response from multiple students were, because I had to explain it, I learned the math better.
You be practicing these big words, don't you? 'Cause
Say again?
You be practicing these big words, don't you? Because you don't stutter not once.
I don't practice them. I had a phenomenal education in high school.
That's good.
Yeah. And I will say that. Please hear me very clearly on this, because I even have heard students today talk about it in my Algebra 2 classes. This isn't because I'm smart. It's because I was taught well and I was challenged to become better. That's why I'm here for you. Because I know that it's uncomfortable now. We may not be great at it now. But I also know that hard work pays off. I know that you are capable, which is why I ask you to walk into my class every single day with the statement, I am capable, because you're capable and you're capable of more. It doesn't matter where you are today with it, right, Brooklyn? You awake? It doesn't matter where you are with it today. What matters is how you grow for the future. And you're always capable of more. Does that make sense, Joey? Okay. You don't have to be great at it, Joey. You just have to get better. All right? That's all I'm asking out of you. Cool? Just try for me.
So my mom doesn't kill me over my grade.
Hey, Joey. Look at me, Joey. Right here. Hey, you're okay. If you try for me, you will be okay. Maddie, what you got?
Are you gonna send these reports to like our parents?
What do you mean?
Like, are you gonna send like reports on like how, like what lessons
So, I will always give you your assessments back. You will also have a copy of this scoring rubric in your notebook, and the next parent newsletter I send out will talk about this scoring rubric so they understand how I'm using it.
Okay, that's what they were.
Yep. So I send parent newsletters once every month to stay in contact with parents, to get information from them. By the way, only about 11 of y'all's parents responded to the survey that I sent with it. Ask them to respond, because otherwise I'm going to send them another email tomorrow, and if I still haven't heard back from them by Friday, I'm going to start calling parents to make sure they're getting those newsletters. So make sure they're seeing them and that they're responding to the surveys, because I want to stay in contact with parents so that y'all have the best learning environment possible. Okay? So, hopefully that helps answer those questions. But coming back to it, I do want to point this out. Look right here. Let's say I have written a question, right? How many dogs do you have? Let's word it that way. How many dogs do you have? First off, is that a survey question?
Yes.
100%. Is that a numerical survey question?
Yeah.
Yes. So where are you going to score on this rubric? Look through the options. Start at the bottom and work your way up. Start at the bottom and work your way up. Yeah, I didn't ask you what you're going to give me. What does it say on there? That's not what it, it's not a 2.
2.
Say it again.
1+.
It's a 1+. Look at the 1+. What does it say? The solution or response is correct, but what?
There is no attempt to justify the response.
Okay, if you don't attempt to justify the response, I don't really know that you fully understood it. There's still, it's not no evidence, but it's little evidence of your understanding. I need you to hear me very clearly. It's your reasoning that tells me how well you understand it. I'm going to come back to this in a second, but I want you to notice something right here. Oh, not yet. What does a 2 say? Do you have to get the answer right to score 2? You will score higher on this rubric by having it partially correct with some explanation than if you get the answer right with no justification. You will score higher with a partially correct answer and justification than if you just get the answer right and no justification. That's because, and I cannot emphasize this enough, the majority of what you study in high school mathematics will not matter for your future. It will for people who want to study engineering and the hard sciences like physics and all that stuff. It will matter to that degree. But even in those degrees, what matters more is your ability to explain why. Your ability to think. And so my rubric is going to force you to think and to explain because I care about your future. Okay? And so we got to develop on those skills. Alright? And so again, you can get the answer partially correct, justify it pretty well, and you will score higher than if you just get the answer right without justification. I care about your thinking. Because that shows me a higher level of evidence of your understanding, a limited evidence, but still higher than this answer. Here at a 2+, right? Notice minimal details and justification to demonstrate understanding. Major conceptual misunderstandings, we'll talk more about that, or procedural errors, right? So a conceptual understanding is explaining why something works. Procedural is actually doing the thing, right? So how many dogs do you have, right? Maybe you just say something, could you just note that and say numerical? Is that a lot of evidence, though, of your understanding? No. So just that might be a 2D+, minimal details of your of explanation. 2D+, right? 2+, but it's got a D of minimal details in your justification. That still gives me a little bit more evidence, though, so that could be useful. All right, moving on up, though. What about if I underline this and I say, asking a question, asking you a question? Is that a little bit more evidence that you understand why this is a survey question and why this is numerical data?
Yes.
Yes. So that's going to score higher. That's probably going to be just a 3D, right? There are significant details that are missing. It's still at clear evidence of your understanding, right? I see much more here that you understand why it's numerical data and why it's a survey question, but I still could use a little bit more. And so we might continue and add more details in of saying how many dogs can be averaged. So data is numerical. And I'll say this, it doesn't have to be perfect English. It doesn't have to be full-blown sentences. It has to show me that you understand. But how many dogs can be averaged so data is numerical? Does that show a similar thing to up here? Does this show me more evidence, though, that you understand why it's numerical? That's what I'm looking for, is your ability to reason and to think and explain. And so, what makes a survey question a survey question? That the question is being directly asked to a person. Could you include that statement here? Question is directly asked to a person, so it is a survey question. That is how you show me clear, consistent, and convincing evidence of your understanding. I need you to explain why. What are your questions before we do our first understanding check? So what are you going to have to do with every response? Justify. Even, guess what? Listen very clearly. Even if it's a multiple choice, what do you have to do? Justify. If I were you, I would keep out this scoring rubric. Because I will always let you have the scoring rubric on your desk during assessments. Hey Trent, you awake back there? Guys. Trent! I would always keep the scoring rubric on my desk. Jordan, you awake back there? Keep that head up. I would always keep my rubric out because you need a reminder of what I'm expecting out of you, and it's justification, it's details. Pay attention to those things. So, clear your desk except for a pencil and the scoring rubric. Huh? Yes, you register. You're gonna lose it on time for your understanding check. You better run it quick or. Your desk except for the scoring rubric and the pencil. You can have your scoring rubric out, you can have a pencil, and that is it. Yes, you may start. She's one of the teachers that can help you. Okay, I'll text her and have. Do you want to go? Would you like to? Excuse me, guys. Y'all have an understanding check on your desk? Yes, ma'am. No, this is not a group thing. This is a you thing. I need to see what you understand. That is a decent question, though. I do recognize that. You're the only geometry class I'll have. You're good. Huh? No, you're not ever supposed to be out of it. Let's get to work. Guys, please do note on number 1, it can be more than one response, but make sure you justify all of them. That's the thing I said, select all that apply. Oh no, I just said, yeah, select all that apply on number 1. Pay attention to your directions. By the way, this is the first assessment we've done. I should have mentioned this already. If I hear you talking, one of the things I will do is I might come by your desk and put a little line on your paper. Every time I do that, that's 10% off your understanding check. Don't be talking. Okay? Show me everything you can. Justify your answers. have a question, you can come over here to ask me. Yes. So, how did you identify the statistical questions right here? That's something I'm assessing on, you gotta know that.
Oh, you forgot to cash at me. Can I see what time it is on this? No.
Do you need a number line to do without a plot? That's the only question I would ask you. So don't forget, you gotta explain your answers too. Even the number one subject to work on this now is- Create a statistical question that will require the collection of numerical data. So think about what is meant to be statistical up here, and it will require numerical data. Hey, by the way, guys, if you need a ruler or something, there are rulers over here on the Student Work Center. Some to make a nice straight line if anyone needs it. You can just go get one. Just don't be talking. No, just get one for yourself. Danny, you want to come up here and ask a question? You're what? Okay, bring it up here. Justify number one at all? Can you pass that real quick? You haven't justified a single two on here, you didn't finish number 4. You didn't justify numbers 1, 2, or 3. And you didn't justify number 1. Remember, what did they say it means to justify? You have to explain why. Maddie, why are you looking around my room? Look at your assessment. Well, you're looking at it, he's looking at it in here. If I heard him, he'd be getting a mark on his paper for 10% off. It doesn't matter what time it is. It's time for you to take an assessment. It is crazy. Please do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to justify. Tell me why. Explain how your answer satisfies the question.
Is that what statistical mean?
No. You should know through and through what statistical means. We went over that for 3 straight days. calculators, they are way too much money to replace.
That was
I understand. But do your best not to let that be an accident in the future. When you're done with your assessment, you can bring it over to me. We'll be wrapping this up in just a few minutes. Have you justified any of these responses or this one? Or have you done the part here where it asks you what story does the data tell? Listen to me. I was looking out for you. If those answers are wrong, you automatically have a 0 negative on that question. Same thing with these two. You need to tell me why. How did you come to a conclusion that those answers are correct? Justify it. Yup. Justify it all, ladies and gentlemen. Justify every answer. Do you justify your response for number 1, or 2, or 3? Tell me why. There's gotta be some justification in there. You're putting winter on the papers. I'm gonna start calling you winter. You justify any of those? I mean,
I come right with it.
you've never had to use the bathroom, but now that we're taking an understanding check, you gotta go to the bathroom.
I ain't use all of this.
Huh?
I ain't use all of this.
That sounds like a mistake. Finish the understanding check and then you can go. Alright, let's say 5 more minutes. Get as much justification on there as possible. Justify your answers. Nathan. What on God's green earth made you think you could get your notes out to do an understanding check? I'm trying to check on what you understand, not what your notes say. We don't get notes out for assessments in my class, is that clear? Put that up and don't let me ever see that again. You will have to understand that I'm gonna have to account that somehow to your grade that you had your notes out. Don't do that again. Jordan, were you not here on Friday? Did you watch any of the videos I posted on YouTube last week? Dog, you Google my name, it's the first thing that pops up. I'm sorry, YouTube. You go to YouTube, you search my name, it's the first thing that pops up. No, Nathan Kenny. Nathan Kenny. Thank you. 2 more minutes. Looks like most of us are almost there. Or are there? Someone just handed me one without a name on it. You done? Excuse me, there should still not be any talking. Alright, last few minutes. While I showed the class something, you may continue to work for just a couple minutes. But Jordan brought up that he could not find the YouTube channel that I have for y'all. If you check your email, which I know Jordan didn't get the emails, but if you check the emails that I sent you over the weekend, there are clear instructions on how to find the YouTube channel, but also, I think I even put it as a link, but if you go to the search bar in YouTube, and you put in my name, put in the whole name, Nathan Kenny, what does that look like right there? That's your boy, Mr. Kenny, right there. First option, right? The first channel there, the first several videos there. In fact, the first 2 videos are the videos from this class on Friday, right? So, you search my name, Nathan Kenny, it's right there. Yes, Jordan.
I swear, I typed in Mr. Kenny, so that's why I got messed up. But I saw an account with a big N, and it was a 6-year-old playing Fortnite 2 years ago.
Yeah, definitely not me. Search my full name, Nathan Kenny. Notice you just click on my name. You go to playlist. And which playlist are you going to go to?
You only got 2 classes?
It's either the one Mr. Kenny's Geometry with Data Analysis or it's Mr. Kenny's Algebra 2 with Stats. The Geometry with Data Analysis. It's right there. Okay? I have 3 classes, Jordan, but 2 of them are Algebra 2 with Statistics. So I teach 2 that are the same.
Okay.
Alright? So, about to get started, but I need y'all to understand, like, those videos are there to help you and help you be more successful. Pay attention to it. Watch them if you need them. But let's get started with the day. So I'm going to come by and collect those that I haven't gotten yet. All right. Thomas, thank you, sir. Kyla, thank you. Anaya, is that yours? Thank you. Jaden, thank you. Jordan. Trent. Thank you, sir. Jaden. Janaya. So, let me ask this important question first, really quickly. I know some of us forgot to study, but legitimately, was there anything on this understanding check that we have not been over in class? Jordan's got is the only one, I think, who was not here for one of the things, and it was just the dot plots. You were here for part of the dot plots, weren't you?
No, I wasn't.
You were out Thursday and Friday?
Friday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay, so yeah, you missed the dot plots. I understand that. But I'm going to talk about something with that in just a second. But I got to pause and I got to point this out because I heard several people ask me, well, what does it mean to be a statistical question? Show of hands, not show of hands, but will someone raise their hand to politely explain to the rest of the class what a statistical question is? Barry Lee.
You expect variability in the answer.
It's a statistical question if responses have variability. Whoops! Mr. Kenny ain't talked about that, oh, I don't know, 3 days in a row. Guys, you guys study your notes, which is one of the reasons why I have an understanding check, is to force the issue that you look at the things we go over in class. We spent way too much time on what it meant to be statistical versus non-statistical. It seems like we're pretty okay with numerical versus categorical, but if a question is statistical, you expect variability in the responses. Study your notes. If it's non-statistical, you do not expect variability in responses. In fact, there's only one correct answer. Okay? Now, here's the beautiful thing for all of you. I don't call this a quiz for a very important reason. I call it an understanding check for this simple reason. I think I mentioned it, and if I didn't mention it yet, I need you to hear me clearly on this. I don't care about the past. I care about the future. And so, I have a way, because of the way I score these, that let's say you score a 35% on this understanding check. But on these same types of questions on the test, let's say you make an 82%. Did you grow?
Yeah.
In fact, you more than doubled your understanding. And so I'm going to honor that. I have a way, because of the way that I scored, that if you made a 35 on this understanding check, which sucks, but you make an 82, which is a pretty darn good understanding, right? I will use the 82% in place of the 35% on your understanding check. That's why this is an understanding check. It doesn't matter how you did on this, it matters how you do in the future. Make it 35, you grow and you learn from the feedback I provide you, you're going to be okay in my class. In fact, let me show you a little bit of what I mean. So I forgot to show this to you all earlier. Here it is. I'm going to go backwards in my slides because I meant to show you this. This is examples of students who I had last semester. This isn't something you'll study, it's just an assessment I gave them. You see how this student gave just an answer? Well, there was only 3 models to choose from. Could he have guessed to get the correct model?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that really tell me how well he understands it? No. That's why that 3 that you see, I had a different rubric last year. That 3 would be the equivalent of your 1+. Correct answer, no justification. So there's little to no evidence of his understanding. Same thing here. Literally only had a square root there, which is correct, but that doesn't tell me that he fully understands it. This student, though, this 4C, that is the equivalent of your 2+, right? See how that student actually explained why? Right there? Do you see right here, though, where I wrote a note C, meaning he made a conceptual misunderstanding? He wasn't supposed to be solving anything. Brooklyn, Peyton, y'all awake? Okay, I'm trying to show you things that you need to be aware of. I got 90 minutes with you every single day. Don't you dare fall asleep in my class. So, Conceptual misunderstanding, made a procedural mistake there. Over here, a much better response. That 5C, that's the equivalent of a 3+. But I need you to understand, not only did I score it, what else did I give the student? I gave the student feedback. Because you know how you learn and grow? By getting feedback. If you, like this student here, could I give him feedback from what I see that he understands or doesn't understand?
No.
Well, I only have